welcome to the listening room.
Now
And
you can see
you
us?
can actually link our face to the the introductions. I'm
To the
Sean.
voice.
Yeah, I'm Sean, the manliest one.
Yeah,
And
I'm
as-
Deben.
That's
Yeah, if you can
Deepan.
recognize Deepan, he actually shaved.
Ah,
He looks
Yes.
way cleaner now.
yes. He what is that? This is
I-
Josiah.
I was recording on the side of the road before this.
So yes, the three of us now you can see us all in our
Yep.
in our glory.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do this new. It's not a new podcast. We're gonna do this new.
But you also,
Format.
it's a good thing that our audience can't see us trying to rig the camera out.
Yeah.
And what we're
Yes.
using is not a tripod, but actually like you know when you paint and then you need to
Technically,
use
it's a tripod, but it's not meant for the camera.
Yeah, it's not meant for a camera.
it's meant for a frame when you need to do like
But that goes to show what kind of people you are, because I had nothing to do with that. It's like with the handyman, you know, like you guys are the handyman. You get
Yeah.
things done with your
No,
hands.
but
You don't
it's-
complain. You just whatever.
No, but I'd say that Josie is, I think, the most experienced when it comes to this kind of shit because he works in this field, right? So he would have encountered this at a younger age.
Yeah.
True.
So like the
yeah,
film
but I've
MacGyver.
never tried to rig like a camera to a tripod using strings.
And now you can. Now you can.
And now you have.
And now you can.
Something to take off the
It
list.
has been done.
And for
if you
now,
know-
it looks like the camera is stationary. It's not moving.
Yeah, it's a success.
It's
it
a
is a
success.
success.
Yeah,
And-
for those who are watching and have no clue what the fuck is going on, we're gonna post it on our Instagram page
Yeah,
and Twitter
you're
page.
gonna see a
So
picture.
follow
of
us on Instagram at Listening Room Podcast
Yeah,
Yes.
and Twitter and on Instagram
and Facebook.
and Facebook.
it.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
Yeah.
on so many things. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
And now our
And
face is gonna
YouTube.
be on here.
and YouTube. Yes,
and YouTube.
The
Yeah,
The
video
face
will
is
be
gonna
up
be
on
on
YouTube.
here. I mean, our face has already been on YouTube for 3 weeks now. I mean, three
Yeah,
episodes.
more than that.
Four episodes. No, as in the
I think we
the
started
Skype ones.
with
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
we
in
started with
April.
Rindo.
We started in April, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we started with Rindo and we ended with Rindo, right?
No, we started individually. Just
Three
between
of
the
us.
Three of us.
No,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
in the Skype.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
it
The first
was
one we
there.
did was Zoom,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
then we moved to Skype.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah,
Zoom. By right now, I think Skype was actually better, Zoom was quality-wise, I think it was okay. But
yeah, it was not laggy or what, but I
no,
think Skype is okay.
easier.
Yeah,
More
Skype you can
convenient.
change the background lah. To
But
something
now
else.
we
Yes,
have
I think
this.
Zoom also can. We changed it.
Was
Right?
it?
Yeah.
All right.
This thing it can capture
You were doing
our
it from the
face.
outer space. I was doing it from. Then you changed it to the beach.
Voguing.
Right. And then was it the one that I changed it to like two naked men behind me?
What?
Yes, yes.
The
yeah.
Twin Towers. Damn.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about something that has been like dominating our
Yeah.
local news cycle, which was the Okay Let's Go podcast.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, and what they did or what people perceived that they did, and then the apology that followed that,
Hmm.
and then Halimah Yacob coming out and
Yeah.
saying that
But it's what you get when you get government
yeah.
sponsor.
okay, yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people know about this,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? So they took money or
Mm.
they did like programs for government agencies, right? I think Health Promotion Board was one,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
and they had someone from Health Promotion Board to come in and talk, like advocate for something.
Mm-hmm.
And people are not talking about those episodes. They are talking about the other episodes where most likely it was not sponsored.
Mm.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure. I'm not
Mm.
sure who sponsors the podcast, but so I think someone wrote about it on Twitter, right? Someone said that Shanmugam is Minister Shanmugam is going to be on the podcast.
Yep. Yep.
And verbatim is like they're giving credence to misogynistic people and backwards
Yeah.
No,
mentality
it's because
and all this kind of
yeah,
shit.
the main issue is what they said in one of their podcasts. And they actually have a specific podcast where their viewers actually complain about it. It was when they made comments about the female.
What Sarah? Is it?
I'm not sure.
The MILF,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
think
she
about
was
that.
a guest on the podcast, right?
Yes.
And they were interviewing her.
And then I
Yep.
think they were discussing amongst themselves like what part of a female. Of the females do they find attractive, and then one they said like a bum and legs and all
Mm.
that, and they found that was sexualizing the females or what, and the main complaint is that they felt it was now for Malay men,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
made by Malay men for Malay men.
Mm.
so they ostracized the female victims. No, the female viewers. I think that was one of the main things. And then the other thing was stuff they said throughout that podcast was how do you phrase it now? What was it? Demeaning to women. I think demeaning, like
misogynistic, like
something. Mostly that. And then
they don't respect women and all that. A wife. I think someone said that. They have got archaic views of what a wife should be, and this is predominant. This is a predominant view in the Malay, like Singaporean Malay community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So and then like the hoo-ha was that Minister Shanmugam was going to go onto the podcast. And then that was why people the government is actually like supporting this shit.
Yeah.
So the government, in my view, that was when the government came out, like people within the government came out to say that, no, we don't actually support it. But they have had, like, I think Heng Swee Keat was on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
They had a couple of like other ministers, like MPs, were on the podcast to promote other things.
They're the most popular podcast in Singapore. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, the biggest.
Most popular Singaporean podcast. Yeah, 20k views. I forgot.
I've only seen I've only heard the podcast between them and Kumar.
Okay.
Two-part podcast. I think that was pretty funny.
I should have heard that one.
And then another one is with the Malay guy and the mother who got into some controversy because the Malay boy was using
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mother had to come out and
N-word.
defend him.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was on Instagram Live. Oh, they got them.
Yeah, they got them as well to explain the position and to.
That has to be like super recent.
N-word in Singapore.
Yeah. So I think someone.
They were doing it on Instagram Live, and the mother and son kept using the word and kept saying fuck and all this kind of shit. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't think of a concept where they can say that without being like where they can defend themselves. Like what were they using that word for?
So the kid was saying that he grew up in a like he used to skateboard like when he was a kid, and he among their friends they're very into hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, and so while the skateboarding, he actually like met a black dude lah.
Oh, okay.
And then while he used the N-word in to the black dude as a form of like friendship, like a bro kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the guy's like,
like how they do it in the black community.
Yeah. And the guy took it in stride, and then he's like, you're
some people in the black community, not all.
So I think from then on he's like
he
the way they say he
comfortable
sees
with
it as a kind of like cultural thing, and he feels that he fits into that community.
Yeah. So it kind of feels like when the transgender person and the LGBTQ stuff again, where they want to be known as a pronoun and comfortable in that one, they identify that one. They're saying they identify as that group, and he's saying, so now I identify as an African American.
He doesn't see it as like he's looking down on someone or use it as a slur. He sees it as like if the black people can use it within their community. I look up to black community and their music that they create, so I want to be part of it. Therefore, I feel that it should be okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that episode is more of them bringing the two of them on to allow them to have
clear
their
the
say,
air.
clear the air.
Yeah.
But the episode that I think most people were like the women who were against it. I don't know. Like, if you don't like it,
don't listen.
Don't listen. I think that's the first thing that came into my mind. If you don't like it, don't listen, because like the accusations that they faced, right? It was just like generalized things.
Opinions.
It was people's opinions.
When I listened to that snippet, I felt like maybe that guy was giving his. It's like when I ask you what you like about certain things, and then you can like whatever you want. Like if I can say a type of beer you like it when it's a little bit more bitter. You like it when it's a little more. I'm not trying to make that kind of general concern. I'm just saying that it's that guy's opinion. Like, he likes butts and legs, but he's not degrading the person. It's just that in his view, that's what attracts him. Like, you have certain parts that attracts you. You can't. I mean, he could have said, the eyes, or she's smart and kind. It all could. But this was supposed to be an honest podcast.
Yeah.
And he was being
honest.
That is his actual preference.
Yeah, if you want a guy, if you want him to lie just so you can feel better about it, then I don't think it'll work. I think the main reason why people listen to that is because they think it's honest and it's upfront. It's like real.
Yeah.
If you want it to be the other thing, then you have to watch the news where you have to be politically correct. You have to say things that are accepted. I'm not saying the thing is, even those guys are not saying that you should degrade women. It's just that, in my opinion, like he's saying, in my opinion, I like butts and legs. If he's married, he probably didn't marry the wife just for butts and legs. I mean, be honest, that can only get you so far. Like butts and legs, it's everywhere. Victoria's Secret.
No, but it's his prerogative, right?
Yeah.
If he wants
if
to
he
marry
wants to,
someone based on that, that's his choice.
Yeah, and he'll be making. He'll be making. People know that he'll be making because the girl could be a
No,
complete
but
bitch or what,
but the responsibility is now his, right?
Yeah.
Whether he wants to have a successful marriage or a failed marriage, it's his responsibility, and that's his choice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
right,
don't
like-
necessarily think that he was being purposefully demeaning or like that. He's just sharing, like, I think they had one problem when the guy actually came out and said it was guy talk, or someone
Locker
comes
room
out-
talk lah.
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
comes out and say that it's the way guys would talk to each other,
Yeah.
which is, yes, guys talk to each other that way. I think one way of expressing is that, like, because when I'm talking to you guys, I don't feel the need to lie to say
Yeah.
like what will I gain if I don't feel like, if I really don't feel like I'm looking. You ask me, hey, so that girl is quite attractive. Like, what do you find? Like, what do you look for in a girl? Why would I want to lie?
Yeah,
to
but
you?
we won't ask you like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I think one of the main, not main, but I think one of the valid criticisms of OK Go is that I think in particular for that episode is that they keep interrupting the female guest to compliment her of like her looks and of like,
really?
her boobs, her legs, how she dressed. I think it came to a point where
it's creepy.
it felt a bit creepy that they're not doing justice to them being the interviewers and like having a legit conversation than just
so
like creeping
on
the
that
girl.
part, they gave off the wrong vibe.
Yeah,
lah. That
but
maybe
you see,
led to
right?
it,
Like the point that Josie just brought up, right? Is that a criticism of their skills that they have to interview someone, or is it a criticism of them being creepy?
I think it's the former.
Yeah,
it's the skills,
more
yeah.
the former, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
and I
it's
think
like
just-
Well, a bit of both lah. But for me, it's a bit of both. Like they may
No,
have
because
been,
I think they fall under comedy section as well. So I
Mm.
think their attempts to be funny, they
Came
come
off.
off as being creepy.
yeah.
You know.
But I know what that's like. So yeah. Yeah.
So that's I think one of the main reasons as well is because maybe firstly they don't have video. So I think it's very
Yeah.
hard to read like body language. Like if you're looking at the guest, maybe she might be in on the joke, right?
You
Or
sure
maybe
they,
she's not.
they don't have video at all?
No, it's just audio
Okay.
on
No,
Spotify.
I thought it was like maybe.
I think
now.
they had they took like pictures to
Yeah.
upload
Maybe.
as a thumbnail
Well, now
and shit
we
like
have
that.
proof.
Now
So if we do have a guest, you can see that they're safe.
Then there's no one under the table, so
Yeah. Yeah. And the cling wrap is actually just now being prepared. It's like we had to get a new one.
Yeah,
No, they can't see the rap bit. So.
Okay.
yeah, they can't see what's under the table. So.
they can't see the lino.
It's like yeah.
Yeah, but like, I think one of the articles that made this whole thing like clearer for loads of people was the Rice Media article. So they had someone who they deemed to be a journalist write that up,
Right.
Okay.
and it was like pointing out all the different like places where this person, or I don't know who they are saying collectively, but they collectively identified that these are the places where they transgressed, like where they were misogynist or they were
Wow.
demeaning and all this kind of shit. And as I was reading through that article, I think I linked it.
Yeah. We can put it out for some reference. lah.
Yeah, it was like fuck, like how sensitive can
Oh,
a person get? Like,
I have a feeling it's just something that's pervade within the entire society. This sensitivity, this so-called, I don't know whether it's called it woke lah, but this sensitive.
the woke and dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like fuck, like words now can constitute
So it's
sexual
no-
assault.
So
like
it's no longer sticks and stones can break my bones.
Bones.
Actually, words also can do it. Worse, maybe.
and now it's worse. And
So-
then
So the Rice Media article headline is "Okay, let's go. Misogyny is just the tip of the iceberg."
yeah, that's just the
The
headline
title,
lah,
lah.
the title.
Yeah.
And then it goes in like fucking detailed about like, oh, you know, when they started talking about like breasts, or like when, you know, she explained about how the husband like had to be humiliated, or, you know, like he was a cuck or something like that. So she was actually
wow, okay.
they brought her on, right, to discuss like taboo sex within like
Taboo
the-
fetishes.
taboo fetishes and shit like that. So she was talking about it, and then they interjected and like, so
Trying to be funny lah.
they were like trying to be funny, trying to crack jokes or
Yeah.
whatever they were trying to do, and the intention, I think, is where we will like, okay, we will draw the line. Is it them trying to be funny, or is it them trying to like hurt the girl?
But I
Right.
think most, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I really don't feel that they want to intentionally hurt the guests, because if not, why bring them on the podcast?
Yeah.
Why bring her on the
Then
podcast
you have
in
to
the first
like
place?
ask another question, right? Who is she?
Mm.
How do they know her? Is she just some random person who like they put out a call to like put out a post like anyone who has like weird, freaky sexual fetishes, or was in a relationship where that was like the predominant way of love making, like we need you guys. Some like
Yeah.
come onto the podcast and like be our guest, or is it like one of their friends? Is it an acquaintance? Like like who is this person?
Right.
Was that person at the end of the podcast, was that person like hurt? Did that person feel creeped out?
and was the
Yeah.
intention to hurt the
Did they
person?
apologize to her?
Like-
Did they like
I
One-
don't think that girl that lady came out and said that.
No, it
was
wasn't
any
her. It
ill
was
intentions.
Someone
the viewers.
else.
It was just the
viewers.
listeners
Yeah,
who
it was
came
the
out and-
listeners who
yeah.
felt that was what it was, and they
Mm.
felt the need to point it out. That's the dangerous thing now. Is like,
yeah
I mean, everyone's always been okay. Like, okay with people's view. We have it Twitter and all that, and all those views are, most of the times they're horrible.
yeah
Yeah, people scold, like saying all horrendous shit on these. But now we're in such a environment where even now when we're saying this kind of thing, we could actually, someone who hears this will say
Yeah.
that, hey, you're defending misogyny. You could be mistaken to defend it, like because they apologize for it. So they've admitted to the mistake. They've said
Yeah.
they committed it.
Initially they didn't. They had
Initially,
a
but
yeah.
now
Initially
they've-
they didn't.
they've
Only
been- they've
after
been-
President Jacob's
I would say they've been
Facebook
forced
post.
into it. I would
Yeah.
actually say they've been
Yeah,
forced
yeah.
into it. I'm not saying that whether they should or should not. I think we've passed that already. They've done it. They've admitted that they've been wrong, but they've been at least coerced into it, because the president of the country has told them to apologize. And I
Yeah.
think most of the government ministers, probably if you
The-
ask them, they also say,
But the right for me, in my opinion, the rightful way of handling this, right, would be to come out and say that if you don't like it, don't listen.
no, yeah, because how am I supposed
That would be the only message that
to? Yeah.
I would give if I was in their position.
And
If
on
you
the,
don't
on,
like
the
it,
other,
don't
on,
listen.
the, on,
Yeah.
on the other hand, would you be satisfied if, let's say, you were the disgruntled listener, and now you see them and they come out to apologize only after Halima Yacob tells you to apologize? It's like a parent saying,
No,
hey,
they're never going to be
apologize.
happy. I don't think they will ever be happy.
The okay, I get your point. So they will never, but in the other essence, is also can be seen as insincere, because someone else has to tell you. It's like a parent coming down and say, hey, apologize to your friend. And those cases where if you got into a fight with your friend and then your parents had to come into it, hey, say sorry.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Both sides are actually not solving anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might not have seen. I mean, we don't see them as being purposefully misogynistic or even being misogynistic. They probably also felt like, oh, what?
No,
we
and
just
there-
made comments.
Yeah, you are right. There are people already claiming that their apologies are insincere.
Yeah, and then you're saying like, you kind of wanted them to be coerced into it, and then now you're not happy with them.
Yeah.
saying it.
Once you start apologizing,
Yeah.
it's a slippery slope.
Slippery
and,
slope,
and
man.
it's
Very
been
slippery
that way
slope.
for everyone. Even comedians now are facing that problem every single day. Everything
Yeah.
they say now, people will take it as politics. People take it as their
crime.
hard views. Even if it comes out as a joke, no longer is a joke considered a good or bad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just considered it's considered okay if it makes them laugh. It's funny. But if you say something horrible, it's not just a bad joke.
Yeah.
Oh, you bomb.
Okay,
It's
like in this situation, right, I can like bring up what happened to Chris D'Elia, right? Fuck. Okay, the guy, he was like, texting girls like who are like 16, 17,
Yeah.
like very young,
illegal.
straight out of high school or just graduated from high school, and he was like talking to them on like Facebook Messenger and text, right? So some of them actually went to meet him,
Oh,
right? but I don't think anything happened. So there are no claims that he sexually assaulted them or he raped them.
Right.
Mm.
The only claims out there are that this fella is a creep. Like
He's
sends
creeping on like 17-year-old girls,
Yes,
16-year-old
okay.
girls lah.
So at first, right, I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is happening here?
Mm.
Like shit, is it gonna get serious?" But
Mm.
then when it all like cleared out, like within like one day or like the day after that, like I was like, actually, the fella didn't do anything wrong legally
From a legal stance.
because some of the states, right, the legal age is like 16. Like in Singapore, the legal age to consent for sex is 16. In certain states in the US, it's 17, it's 16. Some is 18, right? So if they were the legal age, there's nothing wrong,
Yeah.
right? And he also wouldn't fall under the category where he had power over her because he's not like a religious
just
teacher.
being
He's
a-
not a teacher. He's not
Yeah.
an instructor. There's nothing, right? So this guy,
But if he
he
say
seems to like really young women, lah.
if he gives out like free tickets to his show to these young women, would that consider like having an influence?
That's different.
or-
That's like if you have sex with me, I'll give you
Right,
a
right.
ticket. That's different. That's
somewhat
prostitution.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So
Just
for
paying for
that,
it,
that will be different. He'll be charged. But
Mm.
in most of the cases, right, I don't think, from what I've seen, he did not actually like sexually assault them and nothing like that happened from what I
Mm.
know. You know, like more information might come out and that might change, right?
Like
But
he's been grooming them or what lah.
Yeah, but
grooming
but
only
he's not
starts from
grooming.
after before they're of the legal age, right? Like if if he was coercing them since 12 and then they become 17 and then he you know,
Yes, then you
then-
need
then
evidence
you-
to
then-
show
yeah,
that
then
you
you
know
have to
he has
show
been
that, but
doing it for a long
17
time.
to them that's what they said.
Yeah.
It's just now that their society is like, oh, you're so old, she's so young, that's nasty, you know, it's creepy.
Yeah,
and it's
like
all
you
that.
know, this is our own like societal limit, or we
Yeah, but
frown
they're not
upon
gonna-
it as a
but they're gonna
society.
impose it like, yeah. Now that's what they want to. Now I think that's what the major problem is over there. So they want to impose all this. It offends me. It should be against the law. Or
Yeah,
somewhere
What about
around
Hugh
there.
Hefner and his wife?
Bro,
Hugh Hefner was like
he's
85, his
he's
wife was like
multiple-
27.
He has
Yeah,
multiple wives.
dude, but it's the same thing. What people
Mm.
didn't give a fuck about her,
Yeah.
right? They just said that this fucking creep guy. He's rich. He's a
Yeah.
playboy.
Mm,
You
she
know, he's
wasn't
a
She
founder
probably
of
married
Playboy.
for the money
Yeah.
whatsoever.
most people actually attack the women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Instead of
they-
the guy.
She was like 20 plus when that
20,
happened.
late 20s, yeah.
So
Mm.
I think in that sense they were looking at it like she's not 17, too young. She's
Mm.
28. I think they consider like adult,
Yeah.
young adult. There's an age gap, yes, but she's already a young adult. She's
Mm.
like at the age where she can make her own decisions.
Mm.
That's why they attack her.
But if you think about it, right, like how long ago, right? Like it was not very long ago where people were marrying like 12-year-olds.
They still
Yeah,
are.
they still
maybe-
are though in certain
maybe
parts of the
out-
world.
Yeah, no, it
Promise,
was
promise.
acceptable.
Oh,
Oh, right.
that
Like
was
in
a
our
long-
society,
Mm.
not other societies, not other parts of the world. In Singapore,
Where? What? How old?
our
did,
grandparents. At what
Einstein-
age did our grandparents get married?
was it Einstein?
Young, dude. 18, 20?
Dude, I think
Yeah.
my grandmother, both have passed on, right? My grandparents have passed on, but I'm pretty sure
16.
maybe less than 16.
Oh,
Mm.
shit.
Promised to
Right.
each other at earlier. But I was like thinking, was it Einstein? Is it Einstein that married his
Cousin or something, right? Or
cousin or
niece.
his niece?
Or niece, I think.
I
Or was
think
it
so. I
Hitler?
think so.
Yeah.
Hitler is the one that married his young. One of them married the very young niece. Was it Woody Allen?
Woody Allen is his stepdaughter, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how old?
Stepdaughter was legal. Yeah,
but-
legal,
but it's a
18, right?
stepdaughter,
But
yeah.
Yeah, stepdaughter
So it's
lah.
kind of
And I think Ronan Farrow.
Sinatra.
Yeah, no,
father-
no, and he came out to say that Woody Allen has been acting inappropriately towards his sister since a very young age.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So
okay. So that one's like most recent one, but where it was still acceptable was probably maybe 400-500 years. I cannot remember.
Huh?
I think acceptable, like really acceptable, like where
Dude,
people married at
Like maybe about 70 years ago, it
Really?
was still acceptable.
one
that-
generation
that
ago,
recent.
2 generations ago.
Two generations ago.
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, okay.
So it was not that long ago.
That- it's not
Yeah.
that long ago.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. It's
And people who are listening to this, like who are from India or what, I think certain parts, right, they're still like
it's
Yeah,
our
they're
culture.
still, like,
yeah. You should find
child
out, like,
brides
you know.
and shit like
Mm.
that.
Yeah, Middle East, parts of Middle East as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you
But-
know, like society's progress or
Mm.
society's change. I think should not use progress for this, but like they change. They
Yeah, they
change their
change.
ideas about
To
like
see what's-
certain things.
what-
I would
because-
say that that's progress, like in some form.
Yeah,
Because like I mean, a
mean,
12-year-old
12 years,
girl,
you can't decide.
Yeah,
Not for a
like-
pedophile, but
Yeah, you can't decide. So that in some cases, I mean, rightfully, it's probably been placed under child abuse. Like it's abuse.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
Because
I-
you, in some way, you're like forcing them into. Like,
yeah, we have not done any research on
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
You know,
so-
no theories about it. But
Mm.
you know, my hunch is that it came about because of like ability to consent to go to war. You
Mm.
know, like it started from there. Then the vote. I think that's one of the biggest
the vote.
reasons. Yeah, ability to vote. But like, if they deem that a child cannot vote,
Yeah. Then how can she
Yeah.
like be
That's
married
true.
to another
That's
person?
true.
yeah.
That's
So
he
I
or
think
she,
yeah.
If you can make
If we were to do some research, I think we will actually find where
Yeah.
the time frame where it started to become like taboo.
But I think
Yeah.
back to this is our main gripe with this is that how right now we have to. Okay, we do have to watch what we say, but it's no longer on us per
Mm.
se to watch
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like we are being directed.
Correct.
Just by society, directed to say, no longer what's on your mind.
And also talking about the OK Let's Go, right? Going
Mm.
back to OK Let's Go. I tried listening to their previous podcast when this whole controversy first like blew up on social media. But I realized that a lot of podcasts was in Malay.
Yeah.
And I don't understand Malay, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that like for those people who don't speak or understand Malay and they're reading off like a translated text
We
of
might
what was
not-
being
yeah,
said
we
during
might
the
not get
podcast,
the-
could it be out of context?
Mm.
Yeah,
You know,
we
certain
never
things,
know, we
certain
don't-
things can be lost in
The
the
translator could
translation.
have like made it worse
Yeah.
or made
You know,
it like
Where-
not as bad.
where the joke could have been lost when it's being translated
Yeah,
to
but then
English.
again, I think the gripe was mostly from the Malay community, the Malay community that
The Malay female community.
Malay
let's-
female community.
Right, right.
So they would if they
But-
understand the language, so they I think they
I think that's also not accurate. A certain segment of the Malay female community.
certain segment.
I think that would be the most accurate.
So my issue with it is that I mean I don't ever want to be in a place where I feel like what we say is dictated,
Yeah.
or almost on that level. Of
yeah, but you see,
dictatorship.
I think that's why I brought up Chris, right?
Mm.
Like you see, he has done this. Okay, you can call it creepy and all. It's
Mm.
your point of view. But they want to cancel him, right?
Ah.
By they, I'm saying the people who have brought this up, the
Mm.
people who are posting about this on
It's the
Twitter.
same
They're
people who are
posting the
asking for-
screenshots,
yeah.
right? So they want him out. They're
Mm.
like, Hollywood, this is not acceptable. Like
Yeah.
you can't have this guy who's like acting
And
in
they, view,
films.
and they view that as being progressive.
Yes.
They view
Yeah,
it as
they're
being
like,
progressive.
oh,
They're
yeah.
saying that that's how we progress as society. If you have someone saying things like that, you take him off. And I'm like, ooh, that's actually I feel like it's devolving. It's most likely now you're okay, most of these people, I think they would be anti-fascist. Like it's
but they
weird.
are fascist.
Yeah, you find
The
it, it's
irony,
quite it's ironic. Like you're,
Yeah.
you're anti-fascist. You don't want people to control your every action,
Mm.
but you now want to control everybody else's action.
Yes.
And it's, I think, was it Carling? I think George Carling actually said something. Fighting for peace. Fighting for peace. I think it's on YouTube. Fighting for peace is the same thing as screwing for virginity.
Yeah.
It's an ironic little thing. You're fighting for peace,
Yeah.
and now you're being a fascist for
To be anti-fascist.
anti-fascist.
Yeah.
You want freedom of speech by controlling speech,
Yeah.
or
Cardin also said like if firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight?
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they fight
Yeah.
freedom. So
Yeah.
I mean, you see, and wow, now when we listen, it's like okay, maybe that guy is the first ever like real woke guy. You want to use that word? He might have
No,
been.
like, yeah, you can say that,
Yeah,
but
but I know I don't want to
but
use that word because
the
it
whole-
seems like it's demeaning to him
dude,
also.
fuck, I forgot when was it, but there was like an argument, like
Mm.
I think it was like Good Morning Britain.
Mhm.
So there was this like black activist, female black activist who was like there to
Mm.
to talk about the word dope, the woke. Sorry,
The woke,
Not-
okay.
saying that it actually belongs to the black community or something like.
What?
If I'm not wrong, it was on Good Morning Britain, or maybe some other show. But there was actually a girl on the show to claim the word woke.
Wow.
So you see,
Wow.
okay, and in that kind of sense, right? You also see that there's a lot of this now claiming of
Mm.
things to be like they shout out against cultural appropriation
Yeah.
because they see a lot of white
But
people.
before we go into that, right,
Mhm.
I wanted to say about the okay, let's go
Okay,
and
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
the cancel culture and all.
Mm.
You've
Cancel
had
culture.
people talking about this for a very long time. Like Joey Diaz has spoken about this, comedian Joey Diaz, Uncle Joey.
Mm.
Bill Burr, whenever someone has asked him like, oh, like, aren't you afraid that, someone might like listen to your jokes and, they're not PC and everything, someone might... And it's like, yeah, but it's like one person.
Yeah.
One person listens to a set, or a comedy set from a comedy club, and then they go home and then they write a blog about it. But that is their opinion about my set.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that that is the actual intention I had for my set. It's your view about that set.
Yeah.
Right? So now they are transposing their views, that means whatever they think, onto the comedian who said it with a totally different set of intentions.
Yeah,
They
and,
assume
and
his
someone can
intentions.
read the blog or the Facebook post and then be offended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like like something really simple, right? Like if a comedian says that, Hitler had some good plans.
And you go, this is a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah. So like you hear that, and then you cut away the rest of the set, or the rest of that the joke from that premise.
Yeah.
And then you just put that I went to a show of so and so comedian and he said that Hitler had some good plans. Right? But without the context of what the joke was about, what
happened
followed,
after,
what
what follows
happened
up,
before that and after that.
And the fact that it's only you that wrote about it.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you wrote about it, and then people
Who read your blog,
yeah,
judge that show, which were they were not at.
they were not at.
And then the other people there who were there listening, they read this blog and it's like, no. When they ignore it, those people, because
The rest of them understood what he was
they
going
understood.
for.
Yeah.
They also they understood. Not only understood, they're not like you. They
Correct.
Because one thing I have to say is that not a lot of people go back now and write good reviews. I would say that
Not
that's
all people write reviews.
not all people write reviews.
Yeah.
Not people they go there to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's
To have a good time. Yeah.
that was offensive, they'll be like, okay, it's not funny. That's it. That is it. But if you have 1,000 people at your show, go back, write the same blog, then okay, we have some be like, well, everybody that went to your show came in and said you said something like that. You said like burning people in the oven was a very good, and then you need to rethink your jokes and what, because that's horrible joke. It's not funny, and stuff like that. But this is one person going out, as you said, cutting out most of the parts and just focusing on one part they don't like,
Yeah.
and of course it's their opinion about that thing. Maybe they didn't even understand the joke. That's the worst part, because
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
comprehension of things is so different. My comprehension to your comprehension, most of the time it differs. Like you hear something with an objective mind, you would see all of it. You would see, he's being funny, he's trying to take that one, he's taking this one. Me, who I'm already like maybe leaning towards like I don't like Nazis, I don't like anything to do with that. I don't like people who are anti-Semitic. I'm Jewish.
Yeah, we
or-
all don't like Nazis.
Yeah,
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
I might have grandparents. And it's
Yeah,
like,
but for a comedian to go up on stage and say like I don't like Nazis, like what's so funny about it?
There's nothing. No,
Yeah.
that means the comedian just wants claps.
Yeah. Then
I mean,
he or she shouldn't be a comedian.
unless he says
run for
I don't
for
like
office.
Nazis, and then he follows up with a joke that's very towards that side. Like I don't
Yeah.
like Nazis, but man, oh man, do I hate like
Yeah.
bam.
And then there's another thing about what the Okay Let's Go guys said, right? So they were talking to this woman, and they were interjecting and saying that, I like this, I like that, right? I don't see anything wrong with that, because that's their opinion, and they're voicing out their opinion,
Right.
and there is an audience for that, right? But who says that that's the wrong opinion?
That comes into the whole dictating what you can and cannot
Exactly,
say,
like
which is-
you are saying that they should not view women like that, okay? But why shouldn't they view women like that? Are they saying that all women are like that, or are they saying that if I have a partner, I would prefer my partner to look like that?
They're saying they're
Right.
they're expressing their own views. Yeah,
They're expressing
That's
their
what I
own
think.
views, right? And if they are expressing their own views, what's the problem with that?
because I am
There might be women out there who are like, yeah, I like a guy who's like confident and knows what he wants and all this kind of shit. I'm attracted to that.
Oh, there might be women out there who likes a guys with six packs.
Yeah.
Or like defined
It's
biceps.
a personal preference,
you know.
But like I think like where I was going to is that person who wrote this was already coming from a very biased point of view.
Yeah. So
They were like saying that I hear this, and those keywords tell me that this person only values women for that. That's what they say. That they're only valuing people, and they like get worked up and like, hey, how can you?
I think if there's one advice I could give, like, okay, let's go, I think it would be to start hosting your podcast in English, because then firstly you reach a way bigger audience, and because when you just have it mostly in Malay, you're targeting a very specific community of people, and I don't know whether it is controversial to say this, but that community of people are quite conservative. Majority of them.
Well, the ones that have issues with it would be on the more conservative
So then
side.
if you want to touch like taboo topics, you want to make fun of like controversial subjects, I think you should target a wider range of people rather than this community which has a majority of very conservative views.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go. If you're seeing this, that's what Josiah's advice to you is.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, what is the greater good to society? Who defines it? Like, that will evolve over time, right? So, just don't listen to people who are coming from their own biases. Coming with their own biases and criticizing you. Okay, take that criticism. Like, thank you. Finish. You don't have to apologize.
Yeah.
I can say it's probably harder for them because they had the government.
I think.
So that was one thing. They were probably their hands were forced by that.
Yeah, and I think we were chatting like within our own community of podcasters as well. I think that was one of the main reasons why this whole thing blew up as well.
And they have a bigger platform.
They have a bigger
platform.
So they reach more people.
They have a big platform. They took money from the government.
And they are subject to the broadcasting license.
Yes. So they have all those on them. And you cannot retract your apology now.
Wait, so for the
too late.
Speaking about the broadcasting license, so if podcasters will have, I think 50,000 listeners or subscribers or something, right?
So you need 100,000 views over 2 months,
right?
And over 8 weeks, so over 2 months, you need to speak about local news at least 8 times.
What does the license
on a weekly basis? So every week you need to speak about something local.
What does the license get us? Like, what does it?
The ability to broadcast.
On
so you'd be subject to like Singapore law when it comes to broadcasting law.
So you need to pay for the license in Singapore.
No, as in like we're doing it now.
Yeah,
but we're not subject to it.
No, because we are not
big enough.
We don't have the numbers.
We don't know. But once we do have the numbers, we
need to pay for the license.
We have to get the license.
Yes.
No, but we don't talk about local topics as well. So we can talk about like
so if you don't have the license and we have 100,000 views, we have to talk about everything outside the country.
You can talk about something inside the country, but over a 2 month period,
you cannot talk more
than 8 times.
So there's one person listening in.
But it has to be like once a week.
They count 1.
They
count 2. Then the 7th one, they're on there. You break this one, we're gonna fine you.
Yeah. So you can skirt around it.
Right. Okay.
But then there's another issue of the internet code of practice or code of conduct. Like the regulations are very, very wide in there.
Yeah, like for us, we like.
I think they keep it vague so that they can just
it's
put in their terms and
and
conditions
stuff,
whenever
like,
they need to.
As long for us, when we post our stuff, it's not explicit lah.
Yeah, I think the main thing is
not explicit
like pornography or anything like that.
So
that would be.
You're telling me that I have to
look
forward to the day where you come to me and say, Sean, we have to go apply for broadcasting license. So that's what that's what I'm hoping for to hear. Like, most likely Josiah, you'll be the one, right? Because you're in the film. You're like, shit, guys, we have to apply for broadcasting. I'll be like. It'll be a bittersweet moment because I hate filling out forms, but you'll still be like, "Oh yeah, man, we've made it."
I think when we reach that day, let's cross that bridge when we reach that day.
Yeah.
Hey, we've already started. Like, this is one small step.
Started by using a string to.
It starts with a string.
Down the.
So now we have, I think, 99,950 more listeners to go before we have to worry about broadcasting license.
Because in my position, I'm looking at the camera directly. So in my mind right now, it's ingrained like string, camera on a stand, then slowly evolves into like a proper
studio,
then a bigger camera,
and then you have your own PA that you can snap your fingers and then she'll bring you coffee.
Go turn that one, turn that one off and stuff. So
I can see Sean being a tyrant though when Sean has a PA. I can see Sean being a tyrant.
Well, I can see Sean being a tyrant as well because that's how Sean will start talking.
Sean will start snapping his fingers. And
but you see,
in the third person, Sean is hungry.
That's how people, like certain minorities in Singapore, are behaving right now, like tyrants.
Yeah.
right? Like
I mean, this action is one of the things where you actually get the president to coerce the people to apologize for wrongdoing, for perceived wrongdoing on your. I mean, yes, maybe I don't know how many people agreed to it. Like, was there a petition? Was it change.org kind of?
I'm not sure about that, but
I think from the government side, I can see where they're coming from, because these people, one thing took their money, the other thing is like, in a sense, represents them now.
but
Because I
they were
think
all former RJs, you know, from MediaCorp.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think Singapore government has a very knee-jerk reaction when there's a big hoo-ha online.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
then they
like
were-
the
yeah.
moment he said like, oh, that's the government's view on this kind of thing. Of course, you'll be like, oh, wait, no, wait, hold on, wait,
Yeah.
right? But in order to show your neutrality, is actually you should have distanced yourself from them, but not force them to do anything. Because right now we can actually see that you do have an
I think,
impact.
and I think before we jump off to another topic, I think one thing about what OK Let's Go is doing is that they are hitting too many bases. You know, they talk about taboo subjects, then they talk to ministers, and then they talk about local affairs.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they- you know, so if they want to,
Like you're trying to be like a little bit like rough and rowdy, but also like
That-
ultra
that's why
squeaky clean.
That's
Yeah,
why
you know,
ambition got
Yeah.
them, I guess. There was
So-
ambitious there.
so I guess it doesn't help their image, lah. The kind of image that their podcast is supposed to be about. You know,
Well,
they are not Joe Rogan.
I don't think they.
That's the thing.
Well, I
Like
don't
Joe
think they
Rogan,
sold themselves as wholesome. Not like we are going to sell ourselves.
we are wholesome.
Yeah, we're
With,
wholesome.
with only the H.
without the W.
Without the W. Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing is for listeners to know what they're getting into. Like,
Yeah.
again, when you complain stuff like that, you have to admit that you are trying to
Wait,
come
should
off
we talk about the Karen? The Karen who sent a message,
Oh yeah.
a personal message, a DM
the DM.
Yeah, the-
regarding our last
You see,
podcast.
the Karens, same thing. Same thing
Yeah.
as the person who posted it on Twitter about OK Let's Go. The person who wrote the article.
Yeah.
There were two articles. There was one on Must Share News and another one on Rise
Well,
Media, right?
one thing is, it depends on how you construe it. If you construe it to the person, if you're saying like, in my opinion, that was a bit too harsh. I hope you
Mm.
won't go that way. But
Mm.
then don't impose anything else. Just say that that's my opinion of your show.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I was offended by it, but I understand it is like, I hope you don't make the mistake again. Then end it there, because then I receive your feedback and I can respond.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, but not like, you know, go straight up and say, hey, you need to stop them from saying this because, you know, I was offended and I don't know how many other people are offended, and you need to control them. It's like, no, that's no, not for this.
Mm.
No, I don't know how to express it without being, you know, one of those like being mistaken for those people who don't want to be controlled. Like, I want to say whatever I want to say.
No, you
I-
can.
I mean,
you can.
I want to be able to say whatever I want to say, but I don't want to make it seem like, because that's how they look at it. They want to. I don't know, conservatives or what? They're looking at us like, if we say all this kind of thing, everyone else is going to be wanting to say that kind of thing, just based on their own thinking that because I say something this bad, everyone else will want to say that thing that's very bad.
Mm.
And I want
Yeah,
to
it's
prevent
like
that
everyone
by-
else, all mindless.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
everyone won't be able to make their own thing. Like, you are the governor, the one that knows. You say this kind of thing, everyone's gonna say it. If
Thought,
you-
thought police.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if,
Like,
you,
fuck.
if you say something about a 12-year-old, what, it's like, that's wrong. Everyone,
Yeah. So I
all
think
the pedophiles.
so.
Are
I think
gonna-
we got an angry DM last week over the joke that I made at the start of our podcast. And
Which called out-
but I think one thing that's quite disappointed is that in the DM, she mentioned that I was it's super offensive to make fun of of the 12-year-old and that's
Mm.
rape, and
That's not rape.
and I stopped listening to the podcast after.
Yeah, she missed out
So-
the whole segment on
Mm.
Mother Teresa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good things to say.
But
Fuck,
but if you look at it as as a joke, I think it works well though.
none
It
of
works
us
well
condone
because
it.
the twist at the end you couldn't see coming.
No one saw it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, as a joke, it's a
But
10 out of 10.
that's the thing.
I'm pretty sure that lady did not see it coming.
Yeah. No, but we all
Sorry,
took it as
Karen.
we all saw it as a joke. We knew it's a joke.
Yeah.
None of us took it like, oh yeah, that gives me the right to go look at a 12-year-old that way. None of us
Yeah.
think that way. And if you think that we think that way, then something wrong with you.
You.
There's something
Yeah.
wrong with you.
Something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now
I think I'll splice this section to the beginning of the podcast, and then open with this.
No, we did not do the joke as well.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
this can be a follow up of last week's joke, lah.
Yeah. So we held
Follow,
back.
follow up the joke, but we need a joke.
Oh yeah. I didn't come up with one. I
Alright.
tried to think of one with.
I've got one, but I'll say it right at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you
Then,
say it. Yeah.
yeah.
So you
Like
make up
instead
for-
of the you splice this to the front,
Yeah,
And
and
then
then we
the
can
joke
end
will
it
be
with a
at the
joke.
and
joke.
you splice out the splicing.
Nice.
yes,
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah.
So
So yeah, we'll move on to the next topic.
Which is we held back. We held back on this topic for a very long time. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were like thinking, maybe it's something that will blow over, or maybe it's something that might be. It's because it's not really. It's not going to affect. Like, not say it doesn't affect us, but we shouldn't chime in on it when it's settling itself out. But it's getting to a point where it's almost everywhere.
Correct.
And
Right.
okay, I have to make this clear. We because that's the main thing you're gonna get when you mention this out. We
Mm.
are not against it. We're not against the concept of it. The concept of the target of the point of it. It's BLM, Black Lives Matter. We're not against the fact that Black Lives Matter. We're not against
Actually, I'm against
What-
the notion that the what Black Lives Matter stands for.
Well, no, we'll get into that one.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
want to make it clear that we're not like against your movement. Like, we're not saying Black lives doesn't matter, especially that we're for your protest against the police brutality. But I'm against how you're doing it, and the points you
And
want-
what has been involved too,
and
lah.
what-
I think
what's
that's
been
more
involved too,
concerning. I
because-
feel.
So I know what's behind it as well.
Yeah, my
Mm.
main gripe with it is when Black Lives Matter came out, they were protesting it. But when someone came out and said all lives matter, they immediately took offense with it. Okay, not everyone. I'm not saying everyone, but there are sudden protests against that. You can't say all lives matter, not now, because now the more important thing is Black Lives Matter. And
Yeah.
I always found that then the point is lost, because instead of telling a person you can't say that,
Mm.
you're saying that yes,
Mm.
yes, all lives matter. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
They're just worried that your all lives matter takes over their Black Lives Matter. And again, what is wrong with that?
You see, the first thing, right, is that the whole thing started with police shootings, right?
Yeah.
So it started with police shootings in certain places where they call them unarmed, innocent black men got shot by the cops.
Which is wrong, yeah.
Okay? Yes, but then you have to look at each incident, right? You need to isolate each incident and look at it for what it is.
And that's the
Yep.
other issue. The
Right?
moment you say something like that, they're all up on it. That's what happening. That's what is happening now. Every single time someone brings up thing and they figure that, oh, he's gonna say something about, you have to figure this one. They're immediately saying, no, you can't say
No,
that because
Yeah.
It's been happening over 400 years, 200 years.
No, it does not.
They'll say things like 200 years we
Yeah.
were slaves and we've never had it equal. You can't say this kind of thing. The people who are looting, why do you care about them so much? Property doesn't matter that much. Lives matter more. And you're like, bro, it's like,
Property do matter, lah. Especially
No,
because the lives of
it's-
the people who run the
it's
store
what
will
you're-
be affected
yeah,
as
it's
well.
what you're doing.
It's part of your community.
It's
as
Yeah.
part
well.
of your
Yeah, yeah,
community,
yeah.
and it's what you're doing. You're condoning a crime to protest a crime.
And quite a number of those businesses are run by black people.
Yeah. No, but I think you have another point that you're getting to.
No,
Yes.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So like you look at it, right? There have been quite a large number of white people who have been killed by cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? You don't see that on the news. You don't see that being reported on the news. Why is that?
Mm.
Right? And you know, people who are like earlier on what Sean said, they're like, stop deflecting it from this
everything now is
issue.
a deflection.
It's like-
I mean, mostly everything is a deflection. They're so caught up with trying to push their agenda forward. They're saying everything, and we have celebrities. I saw Ashton Kutcher cry over it, saying that
Wait. So what agenda is this though?
no, they want
Dude,
to push
but
out the
it-
narrative that
Mm.
Black Lives Matter. You all
Mm.
need to
Like it's a black thing.
You only have to wake up. You know, we're
It's
being
racism.
which is okay.
Mm.
It's okay because yes, your country is quite racist. I mean, there's no denying it now. Every single time they try to deny it, this won't be happening if it wasn't. Like,
yeah,
if
but
it wasn't.
you see, even that
Okay.
that idea that your country, there will be racist people, right?
Maybe what I meant to say is not your country's racist. Your country has a problem with that. Your
With
country's like
race.
with race. It's out of
Race
control.
is huge, but
Yeah.
the thing is that what will they construe as racism, or what are they considering as racism? it can go from something like really, really minor to something like really like fucked up,
Right.
which is like so obvious that no one can argue against it.
Which is the need. I mean, okay.
Okay,
lah,
so
let-
like
let's-
if you were to look at the George Floyd incident, right? You take it at face value,
it looks
whatever
very
shit-
racist, yeah.
right? It's like no,
It looks.
A-
I mean, the guy.
a
kneeled-
guy, a cop kneeled on a guy
Mm.
who was arrested. He was not resisting anymore, and then he continued to kneel, and the guy died.
Yeah, but
That's fucked up,
The
right?
thing
Yeah.
is that it's
So-
fucked up, but until now we haven't actually got I don't think we actually got a full story. Like I haven't gotten that guy's statement.
Yeah, you won't get it.
He hasn't.
Yeah,
come
I
out
think
to
this
say-
is
Yeah,
we can
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That one will go. That one we can talk
Go-
about
go
another
somewhere
whole
else, yeah.
episode. Yeah, but right. So like, that is fucked up.
Hmm.
Everyone, I've not
Agrees,
seen
yeah.
anyone right say that the guy deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if someone said it right, immediately there will be like loads of people saying that, dude, what the fuck are you saying
Yeah.
and everything. I think no sound person would say that the guy deserved it,
Nobody.
right? If you had watched the entire video,
Yeah.
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 right?
agree.
So that is agreed upon, right? We don't know the reason why the guy did it.
The cop, you mean?
Yeah.
The cop,
Yeah.
right?
So
we don't know
we
the
don't know.
reason behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a white cop, there was an Asian cop, and then there were
Two
I
other
think one
cops.
I think
two more-
Hispanic looking
yeah,
guy,
Yeah.
was a cop, and another white cop, right? So, okay, there were no blacks there,
Mhm.
but it was not homogeneous, right? It was
It was not predominantly white cops, lah. All white cops, yeah.
it was not all white cops, right?
Yeah.
So, to immediately say that it was because of racism, right,
Mm.
is you already jumping to a conclusion and just fitting this incident to support your point.
Yeah, and they're
mm.
supporting that by saying that it's been building. It's
Yeah.
been building. It's been building. And
Just
this was
because
just that.
the man who died was black
Yeah.
and the man who kneeled on him was white, that's and so they associate that with like a racist killing,
Mm.
right?
Right.
That is the biggest problem I have with the whole
Rather
thing.
than from a
That
wider
the-
view of like police brutality.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
the straw that broke the camel's back was not was probably not the right,
Yeah.
somewhat right straw lah.
Mm.
Like
So and another thing, right, is that like when BLM started like couple of years ago, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Like with the Trevor
Ferguson, I
Martin,
think,
yeah,
in
Ferguson
Ferguson,
and
yeah.
shit like that. Since then, right, what have they done to solve this matter?
well, that's the other issues that nothing was done. Since
Yeah.
Then.
So all these protests, you can say that it's a right for you to protest in the
Protest
country
is
and
okay,
everything,
yeah.
okay? But then what are you going to do about it? So you have destroyed cities,
Yeah.
destroyed livelihoods and everything.
Which I think now they want the answer, and the answer is to abolish the police
Yeah.
or
Okay.
defund the police.
So
But-
they actually had no. I mean, I think you're about to get that is that they had no. There wasn't actually a straight what we want.
Yes.
It was mainly just, whoa, let's just go crazy.
Yeah.
That's why
Because
all
you
the
can
looting-
never have like one, like you can never have consensus
They
within such
haven't.
a
I don't think they've agreed yet.
vast,
The
like-
only thing is the defunding of the police, which is
no. People don't even agree on that, dude.
and
yeah.
exactly what do you mean by defund? Is it to abolish, to remove
Yeah.
some
if,
funds?
if they
How much
defund the
funds?
police, if they defund the police, it will probably lead to the abolishment of it. I mean, they want to defund
No.
them.
So
We
so
should
there's
not
some
pay for
so there's some people who say that we should take some funds and then use it for the black community to build
Mm.
like schools, community centers.
Yeah,
so on
but
and so forth.
how is that
So-
addressing police brutality?
Yeah, you're
That's
gonna
not.
increase it.
You want welfare for
Yeah.
your community,
You
so
might
you
increase
are
it, yeah. You
It-
might
Or,
raise
or then there's another group where it says that we should defund the police in terms of the arms that they use, because a lot of them like carry.
You know what's a weird thing about
weapons
that?
or-
You know what's a weird thing
There's
about
no
that?
weapons used in the.
No, they get military grade weapons,
Yeah,
right?
so
but you
people
know
are
where they get
against
it from? They get it from the military for free.
Oh.
So they are getting fucking tanks and
Mm.
armored vehicles and all for free.
Right.
so in
They are like, use it. There have been like couple of articles about it, and like I think Max Blumenthal and like couple of other like independent or like journalists who work for the Grey Zone and all, they have been like documenting this, like they come and publish and say that fuck, this company that produces armored vehicles just donated like don't know how many to this department, to this police department
Oh wow. And this goes across the country.
across the country.
Right.
So like
Hopefully they'll never
phased
have to
out
use
like
tanks,
but they do have, right? So like not like the traditional tanks lah,
Mm,
maybe
but the
like
armored-
modified
armored vehicles,
armored vehicles,
Yeah.
and like fucking like guns, like rifles and all, right?
high
they
power
get,
rifles,
like,
yeah.
they get passed down to the
The
police
cops lah.
department,
Right.
right? So it's like you don't need the funds in that when it comes there. So like, if people really go and dig and find out information before they come up with all this kind of ideas, right? Then you eliminate all this kind of like nonsensical ideas of like, let's defund them. Oh, they're spending too much on like buying weapons. Like fuck, they're getting most of the weapons for free.
Again, when
Right.
when you're saying that, it's like how is it gonna what was your main aim to defund the police? Why do you want to
I
take
think- I
away
think
the
the-
only
the-
thing guaranteeing your safety just because of the
No, so I think the main perspective here is that the police force are inherently racist and the system is rigged against them,
Yes.
and we need to overthrow the
That
system.
is the point that they're pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the main issue, lah.
and their whole way of solving it is to take it all away. I mean, I don't know, but I'm seeing it as you take it all away and replacing it with what communal.
Yeah. So it's quite funny, right?
Which is something that happened over there at Chaz, the Seattle 7 block, then to 6 block. Then
No,
to
no,
3
that
blocks.
is just an occupation. That
Yeah,
that
they
is not even
They
a
occupy.
communal thing.
You know what the mayor said about that. The mayor said it's like they have it all the time. It's a block party. It's just
What?
it's like a party, you
Dude,
know,
But they're armed to the
You know,
teeth.
you know what started happening inside the chairs thing?
Yeah.
So like they rounded up everyone and then they gathered in the like somewhere like central, and then they started saying that every white person here take out $10 from your wallet and give it to a black person.
Wow, that's mad. That's mad. I was reading this article where I think this electronic store, I can't remember what store is it lah, but it's a family-owned store, and they had a break-in. So the owners of the store, like the father and son, went down to arrest the guy, and while they got him under, while they like hold him down, they called the cops, and the cops said that we can't get in because the roads are barricaded.
Oh,
And while that happened, like a mob gathered outside and they start bashing the windows, and they threatened the father and son, say, if you do not release this man, we will come in and kill you.
Even
Shit.
though the guy was
And
committing
the
a
guy was
crime.
on the phone with the cops, said, my life is going to get threatened. Like, can you come? Like, we can't get in. The dispatch said that we can't get in.
yeah,
It's barricaded. So they have to let this guy go.
yeah. Cops are not going to like turn up. They are going to like just lay back and let everything like quiet down after like the perpetrators run away or whatever, and then they're going to come. They're like,
No, yeah, that's how they're handling
oh, but
it
have you guys like seen anything about the shooting in Atlanta?
there.
The
that
Rashad
one's-
Brooks.
Yes.
Rashad
Yeah,
Brooks.
outside Wendy's, right?
Yeah,
Outside
yeah, yeah,
Wendy's.
I heard
Yeah.
that one. He was drunk. He was in the car. He was drunk.
Yeah.
The people in Wendy's called because they think he was blocking customers.
He was blocking the drive-through
Yeah, so-
lane
So
Yeah.
because he was in line and he fell
then
asleep.
he fell asleep.
Yeah.
So they called the cops, and the cops came. They tried to that part.
Okay, so
that
the
part-
first guy came, and he was sleeping in the car. So the cop had to like wake him up, and then ask him to like drive to the parking lot.
Mm.
So he did that, and while he did that, the next cop came. So the first guy was like, okay, I spoke to him. He stinks of, he smells of alcohol. And he was saying like, telling me this story, what his sister, don't know what, like dropped, like he's waiting for his sister, or he dropped the sister off, or he needs to go.
Yeah.
He's got his daughter's birthday tomorrow, some shit like
Yeah.
that. So the second cop comes in, and that's the guy who shot him, right? So he comes in and he starts asking questions like, how did you get here and everything. And that guy was like talking nonsense. He was saying that he was parked here all the way, right?
Okay.
So
Wait. First things first.
Oh, is it?
Was this all
Yeah.
caught? Was this
all on
caught
the cam.
on the camera? You
on the
see,
body
so
cam.
now it's on
No,
the
no,
body
but
cam.
initially I thought he was in a parked car though. I didn't know he was waiting in line.
No, he was in the park car in line. He was in the drive.
So the car was on.
Right.
but
he
he's
fell
drunk.
asleep.
He fell asleep.
In line.
In line.
In
So
line.
cars started like skirting around him.
Right.
So the
Go
employees
to the-
called the cops on him.
Okay.
That's why they called the cops. I mean, they wouldn't call the cops on the guy who's parked out of nowhere.
Yeah, if you're
not
in the lot, why
blocking.
would they park?
They
Why
wouldn't
would
even
they
care.
park?
They
Yeah.
wouldn't even care.
So
You're
this
not
is
blocking
important
anyone.
context here, lah.
Yes,
for everyone.
right.
So he was blocking customers. That's why the employees called the cops on him, which
They're
they're
entitled to.
entitled to because you're blocking the line. Okay, so I mean, we're all in agreement now that that's kind of you're causing a disturbance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cop had to come. So continue.
Yeah, so the cop came, then the second cop came, and the second guy is he is authorized to do breathalyzer
Breathalyzer.
tests, right?
Yep.
So he starts asking him questions, and the answers did not tally with what he said to the cop earlier, right? So whatever he said, right, is on the other cop's body cam as well, right? And And then this guy was cooperative.
Mm.
He did not even know where he was. He did not even know that he was in Atlanta. He thought that he was in some other outskirts of Atlanta, in another part of Georgia,
Mm.
Right.
So he claimed that he was drinking at another place,
Mm.
and then a girl dropped him off here to pick his car up,
Mm.
and then he was parked in the car. He was seated in the car here.
Mm.
So
It's
he
like,
lied,
no.
lah, basically.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
lying, but
lying
he was
or-
drunk
or
as well.
very
Like
drunk, yeah.
according,
Just very
he
drunk.
failed the DUI test, lah.
Mm.
Right? So he was cooperative. He gave the license. He did the test, the sobriety test, and then he eventually did the breathalyzer.
Mm.
After that, the second cop deemed him unsafe to drive, and because he was indeed operating a motor vehicle,
They arrested. I mean,
placed him under
placed
arrest.
him under arrest.
That's when he started fighting them.
Mm.
Eventually, he
Got the taser.
he wrestled them and then put his hand on one of their tasers. I think it was the first cop's taser. And then he managed to wrestle out from their grip, got one of the taser, punched one of them,
Mm.
like threw down the other guy, punched him in the face, and then started running.
Oh, he shot the guy with a taser as well.
Yeah, so
later.
As he was running away,
Yep.
the second cop shot him with a taser, but he continued running away, right? And then he turned back and shot at the cop with the taser.
Yeah.
That was when the cop took cover at another car which was parked, and he shot him.
Mm.
I think he discharged 3 rounds.
Yeah,
okay.
he died in surgery.
Yeah.
The guy died in surgery.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that became
So
another
then after that, eyewitness accounts say that they kicked him. Like there were people taking videos and shit like that, right? They kicked him when he was down. All this kind of after he got shot.
Mm.
So they were saying that it was assault after you shot him and all this kind of shit. But then when you watch the videos of the onlookers, right, you could see that most of the people there were black,
Mm.
and they were really biased.
Mm.
So when other cops turned up, right, and they were like, "What happened?" They were like, "Oh, the guy did nothing,"
Right.
and these guys shot him.
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
see how dangerous that
So
goes?
you see, right, that is really obscured the whole. thing,
this is actually
Mm.
what happens when you give when you write the bias, when you make the bias, you justify the bias.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is what happens when you justify. You give the ones in the position that option. They can choose. Do I be honest, or do I help my cause by lying?
Yeah.
Okay, so Atlanta PD, right, puts out the body cam footage very quick. Right, the thing happened, and I think the next day it was out. You could watch it, right?
Oh, but tell him what happened.
Yeah,
What
so-
was their response to it? What was the mob's response?
Yeah,
to
so
it?
the mob fucking burned down the Wendy's, right? Then there are video footages of like this white lady in like black, fully blacked out, like fucking sweater and like face mask and all, like pouring fuel into the Wendy's and like making sure it'll burn down and all.
Yeah.
But people were destroying the Wendy's, right? Fucking closed down the highway. People were marching on the highway, and then they locked out the highway, right?
Mm.
So the mayor and the DA, they decided to charge the police officer.
We're shooting the guy
Yeah,
with
and the other
excessive
guy as
force,
well.
right?
Both
With
of them.
excessive force.
Felonious murder.
Felonious murder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Felonious murder.
Yeah. So
It's
so-
harsh.
yeah, so now I
would
think
say the
people-
discharge of his firearm, yes, a bit too far. Considering the only crime the guy committed at that point was assault on a police officer, which is not punishable
no, but
by
okay, in Atlanta, right, a taser is a deadly weapon.
death. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because once you use a taser on the cop, if he's
So-
immobile, you can grab his
You
gun.
can grab. Yeah, you
With-
can grab his gun.
Yeah.
With that in mind, because I didn't know that, but with that in mind, now if they treat the taser as a deadly weapon and he discharged it in their direction and he's caught on a body cam,
Yeah,
felonious murder should not have been a charge.
It should not. Okay, but then you look at further context, right? So
Hmm.
you have people saying that this guy should be, both the cops should be fucking charged with murder and shit like that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the media's narrative about both George Floyd
Mm-hmm.
and Rayshard Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
painting them as like very good fathers and wonderful men,
Mm.
gentle people.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that was what most of the media outlets posted,
Mm.
like published, character pieces about them. And then you look into the guy's record. The guy was just out of jail because of COVID. He had a 7-year sentence for abusing children, like his children or something like that.
Holy shit.
There is false imprisonment. Like he has a long list of fucking felonies, right?
Mm.
And the reason why the guy ran away was because
he
that would
wanted
be
another one.
Going back into
parole violation.
Right. You see, I think we did talk about this. Like from a cop's perspective, right? Whenever you go up to someone who you deem like is acting weirdly or strangely, you have no fucking clue who that person is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Whether that
Yeah,
person
yeah.
is like escaping parole, that person is a kidnapped
So
child in the
for-
car.
You don't know.
You don't know.
So for a Singaporean cop, right, he would actually give you all the thing. We must do this. We must be more careful. We must, cannot just take out our guns. Over here, it's okay
yeah,
because we don't have a history of. the
And we
people-
don't have guns.
but and we don't have
Yes.
guns.
We have a
Right?
history of people here not being too violent, and we don't have guns. We're not allowed to have
Yeah.
guns. Over there, anyone could be holding.
Yeah,
So
Anyone could be carrying
I think
legal or
they
illegal weapons.
teach
Exactly.
them at the police academy to assume. I think
Assume the worst.
Assume the worst.
Yeah.
And prepare for it. I think that's why most of their cops are jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And it's really an unthankful job, lah. Like,
I mean,
fuck.
this is one
And,
case.
and I think Jacko on Jay Rogan said something very, very interesting though. Said if you're going to defund or even remove funding from the cops, right? And given the current climate right now, who wants to be a cop
yeah.
from
Yeah.
now on?
No,
right?
who wants one?
But someone has to be has to wear the badge
Yeah.
and patrol the streets. So what's going to happen is that they're going to lower the bar so low that you're going to get just people who can't even apply for like any simple shit
Well,
Mm.
to become a cop.
no, the
instead.
thing is
Yeah.
that
You're not getting the best of the best.
If-
But some would argue saying that is what has been happening,
No,
and that's why we're getting
so-
all this.
so
Like,
it's worse than that. Now they're saying that they want to defund the police, do away with the police.
Mm.
And the biggest question is, you still have a country where guns are allowed. And when you take away law, the reason why the law, justice and law, who's going to take up that role? The biggest, strongest person in your neighborhood.
The
Yes.
mob lah,
And
basically.
who is that? The criminals.
Yeah.
The
mafia,
the
the mob.
mafia, the
Yeah.
mob, or not even the
Street gangs.
not even criminals that exist now. People who are inclined to the criminal intent. People who have guns take it upon themselves to uphold the law, and who deems what's lawful? Them, because
Yeah.
they have the gun. So what's to stop him from going? You're basing an assumption everyone there is now doing good. That's gonna be doing good. The guy with the gun
Mm.
is gonna do, which is what you're saying is wrong, because that idea you put onto police officers, they're supposed to be doing good. By taking them away, because you say you lost trust in them, now you're going to throw it to someone else who is going to take out
Yeah.
the mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you cannot even, now it's even worse because now that person doesn't have a background. You don't know his background. You
Mm.
don't know he's not been trained. He's
Yeah.
not in the thing. He can tell you, I was a veteran, 5 years, Iraq, so I'm most qualified. And he could be. And if you're lucky, that's what will happen. You
Yeah.
have a group of highly qualified ex-spec ops army soldiers that will take on the mantle of communal officers. Good on you if you get lucky.
But the social bashing though, if you want to become a cop right now, I
Yeah.
think it's just
yeah, it's
Why,
dangerous.
why would you?
Yeah.
There was
Right?
There was a video. Okay, not the best place to get it, but on 9gag of
Mm.
cases now. Just one video out of it on its own, but it shows that one police officer standing there, and you have protesters in his face. Now it's okay to protest, but what the fuck do you gain from going up to the cop, giving him the finger, blowing smoke in his face, and trying to antagonize him?
Yeah.
What's your point?
You
You
guys
are
saw the
egging
video, right?
him on.
The one I sent, the one where the guy fucking punched the fuck out of the female cop.
Yeah.
You guys
oh,
see
with,
that?
with his daughter there,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That is not something that sits well, because that person that you're beating is not a robot. It's not a clone, or not even a clone. It's not a robot or something that it's not alive. That is a person.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is a person who wears the badge.
And this is why this problem will never be solved. Is because people are just acting out their fucking emotions, and they're not thinking about what's the best way to solve this?
And you're also not thinking about what might happen down the road. What actions they take now could have
Consequences,
The
right,
kind
yeah.
of consequences it has down
Yeah.
the road. You defund the police now, you control people's thoughts and action. You are creating a country you don't even stand for anymore.
If anything, I think they should fund the police even more in terms of training, proper training,
Yeah.
recruitment, getting the right people. Yeah, I think they should be
they,
pumping in more
they
money,
should not be
cutting
talking
money.
about defunding the police. They should never been talking about it. The way it looks now, you need more law. I mean, not law. Like you can't. It just doesn't make sense to just take it away, lah.
And
You
I think
want to attack the ones who are brutal, the brutalized, because they're assuming that everyone in the police office,
Yeah.
the police is a brutal cop.
But you just see like their whole intent, right? It's just to take money from one
And,
government agency and
to move
siphon it to another
to
one
s-
that they deem that would be beneficial for them. That
And
fucking doesn't make sense.
It went from, I mean, I think it goes everywhere. It goes from race, it goes from police brutality. It's jumping.
Jumping everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
jumping. And
Yeah.
okay, my main gripe with the whole thing that started, the reason why, is those that are protesting suddenly saying things like, just when someone comes out and say ALM, and I don't know why. I don't know the words to use. It's just that when you tell someone who says like, okay, especially if this person is not taking anything away from you, saying Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, and then you immediately tell them you can't say All Lives Matter. You shouldn't say that. You like I just said, I saw one video of Ashton Kutcher coming out and even crying, saying that why, when my son said why girls go first, he's saying like, in our family girls go first because other families girls don't go first. Then it's like, so why?
Wait,
Black
what?
Lives- So yeah, the concept is there. I mean, his concept is like saying, why is girls first? Because in other families girls don't go first. So in our family girls go first. Why does Black Lives matter? Because so to some people, Black lives don't matter. So in our family, Black Lives Matter. I'm confused. Cause when I say all lives matter, what do you think that means? What do you think that means? Why does it demean your cause so much when I just come out and say ALM? Because you think by me saying ALM, the racists would say ALM but not blacks. You think that when you say Black Lives Matter, the racists you person
what kind of different definition do you
Because-
have for the word all?
no all lives. So
Yeah.
so when you
I
say
think how they feel is that black people are not included in the all in the beginning, and they've been mistreated by the police force or by the system.
so
That now
but
they
you-
need to have
Ah,
Black
okay,
Lives
I
Matter
agree
so
with you.
that-
I agree with you. But you see, that's the fallacy, right? Because you are just trying. Because you are saying, "Oh yeah, all lives matter," but now Black Lives Matter is the most important thing. You are trying to put your cause at the top of the fucking hierarchy, right? That's what you're pushing for. You're like, no. This one is the most important. But people who are saying, like, my view is that people who are saying like all lives matter, they are trying to solve the thing. They
Yeah,
are trying to
because-
get people around this issue, and they're trying to find a solution for it. If
Right.
you want to change something, right? I think one of the best ways that you can go about doing it is to get the most amount of people to join in this movement.
to say that
enact a
all
change.
lives matter.
Yeah.
Black, yellow, brown, white, all lives matter. You treat everyone like you treat the other. You don't see a guy black, let's shoot him.
Yeah.
White, because right now you're saying black, let's not shoot him. White,
Let's just take the race out of it and say, you see the guy, don't shoot him.
Yeah.
until you
Handle
do your,
it better.
Do the proper things. Don't judge him based on his color and assume that
Yeah.
he's horrible. But
No, not
telling
even
me-
a guy lah.
Yeah, okay,
A guy,
woman.
girl, a child, whatever, a dog. Just don't do it.
But your intent now is that no, all focus, don't kill any blacks. Stop black. No blacks in it. Well, I'm trying to tell you that if you want to solve your Black Lives Matter thing, which it matters, you have to treat that's your goal, isn't it? You want everyone to be treated the same, right? Like
Yeah.
in that sense. So isn't that the thing? So why is when someone
I
say
think we can draw certain parallels to this issue and feminism a couple of years ago.
oh yeah,
The
But
rise
I
of,
think
like,
this is
new
where
age
it's stem-
feminism,
this
right?
is where it's stemming from. And this is one thing that I think
Same rhetoric, right?
yeah, Jordan Peterson.
Black lives matter. Then when someone says all lives matter, they're like, no.
Yeah,
Why
so-
why are you unhappy with Black Lives Matter? because Black Lives Matter stands for equality for all. Same thing with feminism, right?
Mm.
Let's just call it egalitarianism or something like that. Equality for all.
Yeah.
Oh no, feminism.
They must be.
Feminism stands for equality for all. Like, then you get into an argument about the name. Then what about the essence that you are fighting for?
When the essence was actually almost it's the same. It's just you're not focusing on one thing which should have never been. I mean, that's the thing. When you say something like that, you're saying why? It's like we have so much history. It's only been predominantly black, not the Asian community.
Yeah, but the sad thing is that black people, right, in America, they have been saying that look at where these people, the people who claim to be the leaders of this movement, where are they getting their funding from?
Boros,
Who? George Soros,
Soros,
the Clinton Foundation. Like, why are these people like Amazon, all the fucking multinational corporations, like fucking billionaires? Why are they supporting them? Because essentially, right, these people, right, they want to take all these corporations down, right?
No.
They don't want
Not
the
right
rich
now.
people. No, that's the idea, right?
That the
They are
system is
saying
rigged.
the system is rigged. These rich, white, racist billionaires want to enslave us or have been enslaving. They have enslaved us for 400 years. It has not changed. The system has always been racist and corrupt. It's rigged for the white men, and these white men are on top.
No,
and then
that's why
we are the
I
poor.
think-
We are the ones living in the projects, right? So they are very happy that such a thing is happening, but they don't realize that the fuckers on top are actually funding you.
Yeah.
Why are they funding you?
Well,
That's the bigger question.
That's
now.
the bigger
then-
question.
then
Why
we-
are they funding this?
yeah. So the major consensus, with
That-
the
there
fuckers
are
on top.
brilliant fucking black intellectuals or even like ordinary people in America who are talking about the real issues that they face. And let's try and come up with some solutions. But if you were to ask like a normal person walking on the street, I don't think they would even know their names. They won't know Thomas Sowell. They won't know Walter Williams. They won't know Shelby Steele. They won't know Larry Elder or whoever. Like, they won't know these people. But these people have been talking about all these issues for a very long time, fucking 60s, 70s. And the funny thing is that two of them, right, Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams, they were Marxists when they were young,
Oh, okay.
when they were in like college and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then as they learned economics and
They realize it won't work.
they realized that fuck, this is hopeless.
Mm.
Like the ideas are like fun, like
No,
Hey,
ideas. I think what they label is as utopian.
Utopian, but
Yeah,
then
it's idealistic, lah.
it's-
idealistic, but
it's
it won't
where-
work.
Yeah,
It's not practical.
Where based the person making all the decision has to be God. Has to be
Yeah.
either God or someone who knows everything and the best thing to do
and then
without question.
and then
without
when
the
people
best thing
come
to
out and talk about all this kind of shit, and they like quote like Thomas Sowell or Walter Williams or Shelby Steele, all these people, Jason Albright or something, I forgot his last name, but another author, right? They call them Uncle Toms.
do. Yeah, and Coons.
Call them Coon, house nigger.
Basically
Like all this kind of shit, right?
yeah,
Like
like Terry
you-
Crews.
Yeah, like Terry
just came
Crews,
out
like
and
what?
he was the one that came out and said
All-
like
all lives
all
matter,
lives matter.
yeah.
It's like, because he sees it and then they immediately say you're a white
Sympathizer,
You're,
cool.
you're a traitor to your cause or
and
whatever.
they actually labeled
Yeah.
anyone comes. I mean, I think some of them dare to label like the ones that are coming out with ALMs are white supremacists in disguise, trying to take away from our cause.
Yeah. So you just paint, them with the fucking, just
Broad
tar and
brush.
feather them.
Yeah, broad
right?
brush.
And then, another thing is that they uphold people who are fucking race hustlers. Like Al Sharpton and like Jesse Jackson and all. These people have made their fucking living out of like outrage. They wait for such a thing. Like, you look at George Floyd's funeral. Fucking Al Sharpton was giving the like fucking speeches at two of the services. Like, why? This guy is a fucking hustler. This guy was
and their
working for the mob and the FBI and shit like that.
The main one, I think the main reasons for doing all that is like saying that we can't get through to the government, so we're using this method now. Like
It's
our,
because
our peaceful process doesn't
yeah.
work. That's why they're saying looting works. That's why they're saying violence works. That's why we're saying all this little upheaval is to mess up the government, so they listen to
Change the
us.
system, shake the
no,
system.
they
Change the
just
system.
don't want to listen to someone who's going to say that most of these problems are because of you. It's your fault.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't want to hear that.
they
Most
don't
people
want-
don't want to hear that, lah. Let's
Most
be
people
honest.
don't want to hear it, and they don't think that's right, and they still want reparations.
Ah.
They want that. They want what they actually want is for the current government to say we were wrong 200 years ago. We're going to give you all this stuff to make up for it.
Yeah, that's a
Because
whole
that's what they kind of did for the.
that's a
the-
rabbit hole that
Yeah, that's what they kind of did. They kind of tried to do for the Navajos, the Sioux, the Native Americans.
yeah.
That's what they tried to do them by giving them land and all this kind of thing. So what the African American ones kind of, you can see, not all of them, the ones that know better will want to fight for the country's benefit, for them to be great again, as they want to say, for all of them
Yeah.
to work together for a better America.
yeah.
But these ones, they want them to just take out funding from wherever they can and better just the African American society, regardless of how it's going to affect the American economy. And they're going to say you don't want to do it because the white supremacists are controlling all of it, and that's why they don't want to do that. They want to equalize. They
So,
want to give us
so
a
with
chance.
all that happening across the Pacific Ocean, Pacific Ocean, how has
And
that,
Atlantic.
and the Atlantic Ocean,
Mm.
how has that affected like
Oh,
Singaporeans?
that's now okay.
I think that has spread even to this part of the
that
world
is
as well,
where,
right?
Yeah.
That is where the irritation comes in. That because of this taking up over there and people thinking they're standing in tandem with it, in tandem with being Black Lives Matter, they're now it's spilling over, and then I don't know how to say this, but people are jumping onto that bandwagon and now
Of like
saying,
racial
yes,
inequality,
and saying like, hey,
racism.
look at us, look at me.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had it happen to me. That's what I hear. But that what they're trying to say is like it's happening to my
Should I think you sent us a Instagram thing.
It's
Should
by
you do you want to
E-
give context? You want to
it's
read like
E-
just
it's
part of it?
Equality SG.
Yeah.
It's about this lady who's unnamed.
It's like a Instagram page where people share their, I don't know, troubles when they're
the
growing up as a
troubles,
kid,
the
being a minority in Singapore, right?
being the minorities and all that.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't have it actually because I didn't bother to save it.
No,
When
you
I
send
s-
it. You send
No,
it
you
to
sent
my.
it to me,
I
what?
sent it
Yeah,
to
you send it to you. Yeah, go and look under the messages. But yeah, I think a lot of people, like, since the whole BLM thing has been rising up in the States, I think a couple of people online has come out to say that no,
So-
this is a situation that we face in Singapore as
So
well.
I don't
When
know.
it comes to like minorities in
Yeah,
Singapore.
I don't
Where
think-
are people getting shot?
No. So this one, okay, maybe I won't say the name again. I
Yeah,
don't-
just
I
the
don't really wanna
context
give
of,
them
of,
any
of what
credit,
is.
but the context is that this person is saying that people think Singaporeans aren't SG isn't racist. Let me give you my experience. This is how it goes. Let me give you my. I'm not quoting it word for word. I'm paraphrasing. But so, she's giving a list of things that happened to her.
Yeah.
When she was younger.
Mm.
A few examples was that, apu nene.
Mm.
That's one thing.
Considered a racial slur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When people clasp their hands together and shake their head
Towards her.
towards her. So
So
then,
so she's saying these things happened to her when she was a
these
kid.
things happened to her. I don't know. She didn't say.
No, but it
what
can
she-
happen anytime, lah.
Yeah,
But
she's-
this person is
she's
claiming that
listing out, and
these are
she's-
the racist
And
things
she's
that has happened
outraged,
to her.
and she's outraged by the
Mm.
use of her words. She's fucking seriously. You can do this. When you turn off the light and say you can't see me. She's already said she's a light-skinned Indian.
Right.
So this happened. I don't know when, but someone turned off the light and said, "I can see you."
But what if the room there are no windows in the room and it's really dark and you
Dude,
can't see
If
anyone
it's
in the room?
dark, we can't see anybody.
So when you
alright,
switch
but
off the light,
yeah,
you
this-
cannot see anything.
This person was just
So there's a
being-
factual
No,
statement.
like come on, it's obvious
Yeah,
that it's a joke about her being
black,
darker,
yeah, being
but being
darker.
darker
Yeah.
than
No, I'm just
Yeah.
poking fun
yeah.
at that.
So pointing any random dark skinned working asked if that's my dad. Being called smelly is about SEC or what? Telling my hair smells like coconut oil.
Mm.
Being moved away at MRT and all this personal experience
Yeah.
that she
No,
says.
and she like specifies, like being
Also-
like hearing people say that your hair is smelly, like smells of coconut, very
Yeah.
strong. Like then she will go back home and say like fight with the mom, like don't apply coconut oil on my hair anymore. All
Dude.
this kind of shit.
Yeah.
No, she says things like this now 8-1 laughing at the ethnic food I brought to class during Racial Harmony Day. I went home fucking cried because of you. You guys didn't touch a single thing, but now all you fuckers do
Maybe
is
the
get on
food
your
sucked.
e-scooters. Maybe you guys didn't touch a single thing, but now all you fuckers do is get on your e-scooters and go get prata at 3 a.m.
Prata is good.
Yeah.
It is good. No one said till this and okay. I'm not gonna read them all because it gets me riled out because.
But what's the main gist of this though? What is she?
There is no point.
So
She's
she listed down
Yeah.
like I think 18, 19 scenarios or some shit like
Yeah.
that, and she claims that these reasons, these are reasons why racism in Singapore is prevalent.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I read that, I was like, what a fucking
take
weakling.
note. Like take note.
Look
like,
at the
who's-
color of my skin, right? What a fucking weakling.
No,
If these are the things that are needed for someone to like just like go home and like cry about it and do like that,
Mm.
right? Then I don't think your parents did a good job, lah.
Mm.
Right? Because the real world out there has worse things than this.
Right.
no,
Right.
Right. But to be fair, that might happen when she's in primary school. And being a young kid, it might affect her differently than what it affects
the
her
other thing
to
is,
an
I think
adult.
you all mentioned this. Like
Mm.
when she said all this, right? We do agree one thing is like, who the hell are you hanging out with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of school is that? Like, who are these people? Could you just be surrounded by assholes?
Okay. She said another thing like, they could not pronounce a name, so they butchered the name every time they pronounced it.
Mm.
It has happened to me.
Mm.
Then
Right.
Yeah.
My name sounds like Tipan in Mandarin,
Tipan,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
people like there have been kids in my class, my classmates. They have called me that.
And you probably shot back your own.
No, that was
you
like,
thought
what
that-
does it mean? And then they're like, floor. And then they
Mm.
laugh at it. I was like, okay.
You wait, I floor you, then you know.
No, like you just taught me something.
Mm.
Now I
Right.
know what floor means in
Yeah.
Mandarin.
And
Yeah.
you also know that their intelligence might not be as.
Yeah, I'm
smart
like,
lah, but
if that's your way of joking about,
that's your
Yeah.
humor.
that's your humor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't find that funny, but okay. But I've learned something. Like-
she does realize that. I mean, the one thing is that she. To me, I just think it's hard. Like I don't. It's a fad.
It is.
It's like
No, and it's that victim mentality, right?
yeah, because I can tell you honestly, for her, right? I mean, I hope to God she's not that like sensitive.
I think she is.
Yeah, but
Mm.
I would think that I don't know. She cried about all this, and I honestly pity her.
No, this person is just not a strong person. Like from what I can see, if that person posted other things about what like achievements they have made or whatever, then maybe we could okay.
No, she's saying that
But
at one
she's-
point she said her husband has it worse. But she
Because
did not,
he's
she did-
he's
she did
darker.
not
The
go-
boyfriend.
Yeah, she could not.
Because he's
She
darker
could not
and
fathom.
southern darker Indian.
Right.
Like, why don't you just say Indian?
Yeah.
Like, you see, she has, I'm half Punjabi and half this and all this kind of bullshit. Like, hey, like, people are not being honest themselves.
Mm.
Fucking people who speak Tamil, right? They have slurs for other races,
Mm.
right? And if people who are Indian, they're watching this, they would know. People who are Malay have slurs for other
Yeah,
races.
and Chinese also.
Yeah.
Chinese also.
Yeah.
Right.
And even whites.
Everyone has it.
Mm.
And you don't tell me that you have never used it, you have never heard any of your family members use it, your friends have never used it. Like,
On that
You know-
on that Instagram side also they're saying at the bottom part when they went to describe it, they're saying like what would people see when they say this, and the one part they're saying like they're acting as us lah, like asking them, oh, so what you want me to do when someone says something like that? Am I supposed to call them out? They say yes. Call them out and educate them about how insensitive that is to another race, how degrading that is. And I'm thinking, okay, for me, I don't know if this is right, but I'm thinking, how dare you? How dare both of you? How dare the lady put that on her own personal experience and classify the rest of us as racist?
yeah.
How dare you say that because of your experience with your bunch of asshole friends,
Mm.
you think the rest of us are racist, that this is prevalent around the rest?
No,
Because there's one
wait,
other
hang
comment
on.
that say, I saw the points, completely accurate.
No,
I'm
hang
like,
on. I don't think she's saying that all of us are racist. I think she's saying that racism exists, and this is what I've experienced.
It goes one step beyond that. It
What?
says that it's so prevalent in Singapore.
Then she
Right.
said,
Right.
for those people who are saying Singapore isn't racist, here's my experience. Her point is saying that Singapore is racist.
Yeah.
Right.
Singapore people is racist. So she's trying to blanket the whole term to try carry the attention to us.
Wait, if she says that, then that includes her as well, right?
Yes. It should include her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we all have certain stereotypes. We all discriminate one way or another against someone who's different than us, from us, right? I mean, that should be the
No, I mean honestly, the
blanket
school
statement.
the school she's from needs to be audited or something lah. Because
No,
like,
but the thing is, you're dealing with kids.
yeah,
Kids do fucked up things.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, because I'm saying that because I'm being the extreme version. So I read this, like, oh yeah, that school needs to be audited. Needs to have
Dude,
someone
whatever
shut it
fuck
down.
school it is, lah, whether it's like Raffles or what,
Mm.
you have fucking kids. You say cannot smoke, they smoke.
Mm.
Cannot fight.
And
Don't go
parents-
join gangs. Join gangs.
Mm.
I-
Like the case with the RJC,
Mm.
that the
That-
Singapore poet playwright Irfan.
Oh, the
Irfan
blackface
Syed.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
No, I mean, it's the thing they use. It's a blanket categorization for everyone. Everyone look at.
Wait,
at
have
it,
you talked
this-
about that Facebook thing?
Yeah, I think
Irfan
we
Syed?
did. I
We did,
think
right?
We might have.
I
did
think we
it.
spoke
We might.
like
briefly,
after a podcast, I think.
Oh, okay.
Why I'm so riled up about it is because it's got support. Because
No, people are
want
just-
to be morally upright,
Yeah.
and when they see this,
It's
they're-
fucking virtue signaling,
they're,
fuck.
they're thinking we need to support this, we need to bring the thing, so people will be people understand not to be like I don't know, this acts. I just look at me, I'm morally upright, better
Mm.
than the rest of you. Listen to me, and what. Most people watching this will say like, you're just sour, you're bitter, because I don't know, because you feel bad about yourself. I honestly just don't want someone to take this, blanket all of us under one category and feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I mentioned this last
This
week
doesn't
with the
solve
episode
anything,
on with Rindo on, right?
Mm.
If you don't want to have like racism or people making like judgments or generalization or anything, you should try and like not look at race, right?
Yeah, that's one of the best
You
ways.
should try your best not to look at race.
Mm.
So what's the common thing between us, humans? Okay, all humans. Then the next level, you want as a society, you want the best for yourself and all. You want to be in a enlightened or heightened society, right? So next level, you're like, oh, as Singaporeans, we'll try and work towards the greater good of this country or the betterment of this country. And then the next level, right, that is where you go into race
But-
and shit like that, right? So are we looking at each other as people of like Chinese, like mixed race?
We're not supposed to.
We're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Then we are supposed to look at each other as Singaporeans.
We're supposed to look at each
And
other
then
as
when the whole
Singaporeans,
like xenophobia thing comes up, right, and then we are supposed to look at each other as humans. But then let's not forget
animal
that-
lovers, PETA.
that's another one. And then your culture and your practices are very important as well. Don't forget where you come from.
So you have to go back lah. That I'm yeah. Then that's
Ah.
where you cycle back to.
Then you
I'm
cycle
this.
back to like, oh yeah, I'm like Singaporean Indian, or I'm Indian Singaporean, whichever way you want, whichever comes first for you, right? So it's like, where are we going to like stop at? Where are we going to draw the line and say that okay, I'm happy at being labeled as just this, or let's not label each other at all. Like, can we stop at somewhere? I don't think so. Because if you want things to happen in a certain way, if you want like the country to progress, you have to make sure that everyone is on the same page and work towards the
Yeah.
one common goal. So everyone's Singaporean.
But it's very hard when you see things like this happen. BLM comes out and then someone comes out and cries about their past. Or
And
the
most of the
president.
time, right, it's the people who are
Crying about privilege, lah.
yes
No, but
unsuccessful.
I don't know how to phrase it properly. Because, like-
Successful
like-
people
like-
most of the time, right, they don't give two shits about
yeah,
this.
but later because when I see things like that, right, again I would be labeled as having no compassion. That's one thing. If I say that
Yeah,
she's being weak or what.
let
but
me tell you, as a Singaporean Indian, you should never have compassion for all this kind of nonsense. I don't find it to I don't see anything genuine in this.
Right.
Really, I don't see
some of
anything
it just
genuine in
sounds like I'm.
You see that
it's
she's
like
she's
plucking out-
baiting, lah.
Yeah,
She's
it's
baiting
plucking out,
people.
like if I were to go inside my my past, I could probably
Mm.
bring out something someone said to me very very long ago.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
my nose, about my complexion, about my my ears or
Yeah.
my I don't know, but no one
Dude,
said
like
that thing.
you might have heard shit from fellow Chinese. Like, hey, Sean, you Chinese can't even speak Mandarin.
go kill yourself. Something
Like, what kind of
but
Chinese
that-
are you,
but
like-
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah.
No, like, you know, they have you, hey, you learn Mandarin, right? Like, how come you cannot speak?
And they look down on you
Then-
for the fact that you're Chinese
Then
and can't speak
oh,
Mandarin.
you're
I
trying
could
to be white,
I could hype
Yeah.
it up and say
Dude, that
things
kind
like,
of shit happens in the Indian community as well.
Mm.
Oh, this fella doesn't even listen. He only listens to English music. Oh, this fella thinks he's white.
yeah.
He's not Indian enough.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happens in the black community as well in America.
It happens
like,
with
like Terry Crews, right? They were
Yeah.
like, oh, he only his wife is white or something. He only
I
dates
don't know
white
about his
women
wife,
or some
but,
shit like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's not black enough.
Yeah.
Like this guy's a sellout.
I think
Like-
there was an episode of Fresh Prince of
You
Bel-Air
can't win lah.
that-
You
that
can't
said-
win.
that
Can't
said
win.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like because if you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his cousin is actually because he's brought up well, where he speaks a different way, very
Yeah.
eloquent and what. So they deemed him not black enough
Yeah.
because he's not their ways. And I think not Will Smith. I think someone else came and speak. He spoke for himself actually, saying that who are you to deem if I'm black enough?
Yeah.
You know, I am black.
It's by the color of your skin, right?
I am black, and I
Yeah.
believe in certain things. I
Yeah.
just carry myself a different way. You don't get to judge if I'm black enough for
Yeah.
you.
Mm.
But this one really got me. I mean, the Instagram. I can't put it in words. I'm not very.
No,
I'm
we
very
just
articulate with
touched
words,
on it like very slightly,
Yeah,
but
but
hopefully this does not continue. If it
Yeah.
continues, then we'll go
and,
like
my
we'll do
advice,
one whole episode on it.
On privilege.
yeah.
Does
My
it
yeah,
exist?
yeah, like the fucking Chinese privilege shit.
My
and
advice
all
to
this
everyone is to-
nonsense.
My
Yeah.
advice is to read deeper into this.
If it does exist, can I claim the other half of my Chinese
you can
privilege?
claim both, since
Yeah, because I only have half, right? I'm only half Chinese.
Yeah, you can act like you're being
So I-
suppressed.
So I want another half.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just you
I want another
follow.
half.
You well, if there's
In terms of what, like job opportunities, money, like I don't know what
Yeah.
privilege Chinese people have over other races.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
But
are like
on
an
our-
hour and
a
an hour
bit-
and a half in.
But
Yeah.
Almost an hour and 40. I think
we're
we
too happy with the camera.
yeah, we'll
It
sign
works
off
really well.
sign off with
Your joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, your joke.
Okay. What's the difference between an orphanage
Mm.
and a terrorist training camp?
Orphanage and a terrorist.
No
training
idea.
camp, No idea.
Nah, I don't know too. I just operate the drones.
The fuck?
On that note,
On that note, catch us again
Yeah.
next week.
Ciao.
On the
thanks
listening
for
room.
viewing. If you have made it this far, thanks for viewing, and yeah, catch us next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.